Alright, here's my newest creation. Essentially, stickers right side up there. Oop, right side up there. Anyway, essentially, I had this old guitar, this old classical guitar kicking around that the bridge wouldn't stay on. There was no bracing under the top of the soundboard and or the sound. There was no almost non-existent bracing in the soundboard, so it just kept falling apart. The neck is still good, and I like a classical style guitar. Anyway, so I decided I'd take the neck off, and the bridge is still perfectly fine bridge. And I just throw it on a cigar box. Well, what I failed to compensate for was, oh, hey, it's real easy. I got a fretboard already on it. I don't have to put frets on or do anything. Well, it's a 23-inch scale. This was I wanted to use this cigar box, but I had one that was longer, and I tried, but I would have had to still add several, like a spacing of several inches just to get it to be the proper scale length so that the frets would work the way they're supposed to work. I suppose theoretically I could have put a board through the back of this and just move the bridge out, but you can see this bridge is really wide. I mean, normally when you're making a cigar box guitar, you only have 3 or 4 strings, so they're pretty narrow. Well, anyway, so I put it. I just used some plywood and I made a new fretboard and I burned frets on. So theoretically, I could use this as a slide guitar, but I'm terrible at that. And it is hard to get used to, where you have to place your fingers when there's no frets, but it's good to learn. The biggest mistake I made was I thought that I had this sanded to an even plane. I thought it was flat, so I'm going to have to address that part of my work table because it was not. So what happened is, when I clamped it down and left it alone, I don't know if you can see it. Maybe, oh, I don't know. Is this terrible? That's probably a terrible thing to do. Maybe I should do it like this. I don't know if you can see it because if you look at this poorly burned fret, like, pay attention to the frets and see how the neck leans. It moves up. Well, that happened after I clamped it and walked away, and I didn't notice because I had a clamp on here, and this is still sort of rounded, so it picked a side. And I was like, oh, not a big deal, whatever. I didn't tear it off or anything, and I screwed it in, and I went to bed because I was just done for the night. And I was falling asleep, and I was like, no. That means if I just, because the bridge initially was big enough to span this whole thing, I said, if I do that, the strings will be off. So I'm going to have to readjust the bridge, which is why the bridge is off center. I was also initially going to use this as the top, so I had pre-drilled some sound holes, and I cut off some of the paper so that I wouldn't be gluing onto a glossy surface. When I decided I like this side better, and also the back is not super sound. Like, it slides in, the lid does, and the lips on it that hold it in actually are already cracked. I had to glue them back down in a couple places, so I didn't want the front falling off. Fear if the back falls off, no big deal. Then I tried to put some sound holes in. I had this I had a half-inch spade drill bit, and I used it. I decided those were too small. They usually say you need a sound hole about the size of a quarter, which is 0.9 inches. Well, I found in my dad's old toolbox, I found an inch spade drill bit, which, if I'd have known I had it, I never would have bought the half-inch anyway. And I should have measured a quarter before I bought a bit anyways, but it doesn't matter. The point is, then I had 2 of these ones. I tried just to drill that one out, and it did not work. As you can tell, it's pretty gnarly. And I wasn't super precious with it. Like if you look, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see with the reflection. There's a lot of glue still, the residue and everything. I'm not too worried about how it looks, but that's ultimately why I called it Squonk, which is a cryptid, a mythological creature that cries because it's so ugly. I plugged up the other two sound holes with these random pieces from my chair that I didn't want to use. So that's that. It's pretty ugly. It sounds okay. I'll play a verse and a chorus out from a song. But I wanted a smaller guitar that I can bring with me, practice on. You know, if it's late at night, it's not super loud. Loud enough if I have a pick, it can put out some sound, but it also it vibrates at the fret on a few of the strings, so I'm gonna have to address that if I ever want to use it in a way that's a little noisier. But anyway, I'll play. Let's see if I can get you guys a little bit of a view of it. I should get a strap for it, or anyway, put on some buttons so that I can strap it on. But by a lonely prison wall, heard a young girl calling. See, you have to be right on those frets. Michael, they have taken you away, for you stole Brian's home, so the young might see the moon. Now prison ship lies waiting in the bay. Oh, where once we watched small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing. We had dreams and songs to sing, so lonely round the fields of Athenry. Alright, well, so as you can see, it's going to take a little bit of getting used to just to play it, because I'm playing it up here, and maybe I should have just shortened the fretboard. I'm hitting that, and I'm definitely scratching down below. It's just awkward to hold it as it is now and play it in the place where there's the most clearance, so I won't scratch it with a pick. And honestly, it's part of the reason I play it with my fingers most of the time. Anyway, but that's my Squonk box, my little Squonk. If you have any questions, no one ever does, but if you theoretically do, leave them in the comments. Or you can ask me in any of the numerous places I'm going to post this. But anyway, next build will be a proper cigar box guitar, 3 strings, proper. I'll be making the neck myself, so it'll be long enough that I'll know the scale length and everything is going to be right ahead of time. So that's it for now. This video is much longer than intended, so look out for my proper guitar learning series video today. And again, any questions, let me know. Thanks.